Celtics Talk podcast is presented by 24autogroup.com. 11 locations across New England.
What's up, everybody? Special edition of the Celtics Talk podcast, taking you up to tip-off of the 24-25 season. And I got my entire PGL crew alongside to get you ready for not only the Celtics raising banners and getting their rings, but getting ready to chase another title. So let's get right into it. I got Brian Scalabrine, Michael Holley, and Kayla Burton. All right, here with Scal. Tell me if this comparison is way off.
Tell me if this is going to be a way over-reaction on your
Yes.
part. The answer is yes.
Yes, immediate. All right. Do you see any shades of the 08-09 team with this team?
Yeah, the only thing is we were so much better in 08-09. I mean, everyone thinks we weren't that good because we didn't win a championship.
You were 27-2 to start the year.
Ridiculous how good we were. And I think it's everyone kind of settling into their role and believing in their role. And by the way, Derek White, Drew Holiday financially compensated for what they did. Jayson Tatum made sacrifices to win the championship, financially compensated. Al Horford is on the end of his career. Like, all these guys are still making money, making good money. And they always say this stuff like, if we win, you'll get paid.
Right.
But the Celtics actually mean if you win, you get paid. So I feel like everyone's going to settle and just be better at their role. And I like the fact that Brown and Tatum are out to prove something. And whatever that means, if that's Jaylen Brown, becoming an all-defensive player, or Tatum doing the same thing, like getting the respect that he deserves as a top 5 player, it's something that's like an internal motivating factor. And I feel that group that we started with so it would be the 08-09 season, was confident and really had an edge, and they have something to prove. Is
there like a chemistry thing that the other teams are still figuring out at the start of the year that helped that team just, like, you guys hit the ground running and you were just like a buzzsaw, or was that just talent, purely talent?
No, you take what you did last year that took time, how long did it take for Jaylen and Jayson to learn how to get off the ball? And then in the NBA Finals, they have 19 assists combined. They're already starting that now, but they're also starting that with an edge of not only could I make the right play, which, I felt like last time there was times last year when they went overboard on that. Like, well, actually the right play would have been to force that one up. But they're not only just making the right play, but they're also doing it with an aggressive mindset. The other night, like the Toronto game the other night was a good example. Tatum watched the game. He checked in 19-0, and his thumbprint wasn't all over that on both sides of the floor. So I expect us to see more superstar Brown, superstar Tatum, in a way of we could dominate the game so many different ways.
What's one thing you're like irrationally excited about the season that, like, everyone's excited because they think there's a championship potential that,
sure.
like what's one thing that you're like, man, I can't wait to see this? Is it just the matchups? Is it, an individual player? Like, what jumps out when?
No, it's like I've always said this about great players. Like, they play a different winning game. Like I just participated in basketball, right? I did. I was just out there. And some guys, they're like good and they can trip up and find success. And some guys, like, they prepare, they practice, they work out, they go to the game, they start a game, and every second of the game is mastering winning, right? And I think that's where this team is at. So, last year was cool because we kept saying, man, this team can win 25 different ways, Now I feel like the theme would be, like, the Celtics just find ways to play winning basketball, and it doesn't really matter what you do. You're not going to take them away from their winning basketball. The ball movement, like, they can miss shots just like we've seen in the past, but they found the formula, they replicate the formula, then they master the formula, and that's what I'm most interested about.
We were sitting there watching, it was like a pregame or something like that, and you were just like, our PGL shows, postgame live, pregame live, and you were like, man, we have a really good group.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
And now we're adding, Michael Holley's joining the fray, Kayla's in the fray this year. Like,
when you were talking about the group, I thought you were talking about the Celtics.
No.
Oh, my bad.
No, I'm just... Our group terrible.
Kidding. It was like a softball. I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry.
But like, why? Okay, but like, why is our group so good? Like, you watch other programs. Like, why are we good?
Because besides Eddie House, that we can't say nothing about, or he gets mad, we can all kind of bust chops on each other. So, And, like, I like to take a lot of credit for that because, like, I'm so self-deprecating, so everyone knows, like, Eddie Howe's killing me and Drew for looking like Bellman at the hotel. Like, that stuff is funny, right? And we have a mix. And we're also not a bunch of know-it-alls where we're like, well, everyone just sit down and let me lecture you on everything we know about basketball. And it kind of coincides with, there's going to be a night where we have nothing to say. There's no breaking the game down. But can we deviate and have a blast while we're out there? Or, like, can Tom Giles ask Drew Carter about shooting the jumper? And am I allowed to chime in on that, right? When we have Eddie House on the Zoom? Why is Eddie on the Zoom if we're going to ask Drew Carter about missing shots? I mean, I just think that dynamic is good. And, everyone's good, like, about, we can make fun of you and how many trades we're going to make. And you guys can make fun of me and how I talk about pick and roll. So I just think the dynamic is great.
2 years later, still getting made fun of for Robert Williams not being here. So
no, remember? Every day you would talk about a trade. Every day I'm like, what are you talking about?
There was a stretch in that, like, I think it was that 22 season where we're like, well, like, could Jeremy Grant be coming to the Celtics? Right. Like, every day.
And I kept saying to you, you know what? Those two got to get better. They just got to get better. I don't know. There's no magical formula. Those two got to get better.
You might have been right.
And you didn't bring up Drew Holiday. Who could imagine that?
Nobody, especially not with a Robert Williams involvement. Michael Holley.
Chris Forsberg.
I don't want to say, like, I was going to say latest addition to our PGL squad.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been.
You got a squad, though. You got a squad. You guys won a championship last year. I'm just trying to come in, stay in my lane. I don't want to mess up the title.
No. You're only going to improve the chemistry. You're only going to take us to another level.
Okay.
I was just telling you, I don't mean to hit you with the negative question,
Good,
but we got to be partial here. We got to be or impartial. Like, what could derail the Celtics this season? Like, what are the things that we've seen it over the last 5 years? No one's repeated. Like, what could trip them up along the way?
All right, a lot of things. I think there's obvious answers. Injuries are obvious, but that's no fun to talk about because you don't want to root for anybody to get hurt and talk about injuries. But it could be the competition. It could be the competition, the combination of the competition improving and you feeling like you've reached something, you've accomplished something, and you just kind of fall off a little bit. Everybody falls off a little bit. Okay, I just talked about being the new guy, coming in, and just trying to fit in.
You're here now. I'm going to downshift, right?
Right. Yeah. Okay, but last year that happened. Drew Holiday had something to prove. He came in just before camp, and you could see him, and you saw it up close. You could see him probably for about 15 games, 10 to 15 games of just kind of thinking. You could see him kind of playing mechanically. If you go back and watch.
I would say almost up until the playoffs, he was still kind of like figuring out what do I do?
You could actually see it. Drew Holiday first 10 or 15 games, Drew Holiday last 10 or 15. Like Holiday in that Indiana series was feeling himself.
Exactly.
I mean, he was like, oh yeah, I got this. I know what I'm doing. And he was comfortable. He was comfortable laying off. He was comfortable taking over. And so that worked out perfectly. Derek White got into his role perfectly. Al Horford. Hey, you need me to come off the bench? I'm good. You need me to just play off of Porzingis at times? Porzingis playing his role. I don't need to be the first option or second option. Sometimes I don't need to be third. So that could fall off a bit when you win a championship. You've heard it many times that those role players tend to say, okay, that was nice. That was cute last year. I'm going to do something a little different. And they take it up. And then the competition. You see New York coming in. I'm not convinced, but they are better. Paul George, the addition of Paul George to Philadelphia, if they can figure it out, if they say, hey, Tyrese Maxey, Embiid, George, you don't need to be a number 2. George, you're a number 3. Or flip it around. Embiid, you don't need to be a 1. We're going to have Tyrese as a 1. And just have everybody stand down. I think that could be a real challenge, and that path becomes harder for the Celtics. That could be it's not a Celtics problem. It's a problem for a lot of teams that haven't repeated.
I'll give you one more wild card and tell me how you feel about it. It's the ownership situation, right? Like kind of hovering above everything. On a team that doesn't change, the one thing that might change is the guys in charge. Can that bleed into an organization, or is this team strong enough to withstand sort of that noise that will come with it?
Yeah, I don't think that doesn't bother me as much. Am I naive on that? Like, as far as from a player standpoint?
It depends on who it is, right? Like
now,
Really?
Okay.
You think it doesn't matter? Well, you just
In the
think
NBA,
they'll stiff arm it.
I'm okay. I'm gonna bring it back to real life. Okay, real life. I just know the NBA. They just signed this deal. It's gonna kick in next year. Media deal, $76 billion.
Still with a B.
So that's right. So if I'm in an industry and the $76 billion is out there, I'm not worried about it. Now, if somebody takes over like a real job, you say, is my money going to clear? It's a check. Is a check good? I know what it says, a contract, but are they able to pay this? And no NBA player has to worry about that. So if you're not worried about the money, if you're not worried about the franchise moving, this is not one of these, kind of unstable franchises where you're not sure, where the commissioner is saying, hey, if we don't get this, we may go across. Hey, Vegas needs a franchise. Seattle needs a franchise. You're not worried about the stability of the Celtics. You're not worried about the health of the franchise. So I actually don't put that high on my list. I don't put it on the list at all.
You make me feel better. A couple quick ones. Give me one thing you're irrationally excited about this season. Maybe a matchup, maybe a player on this team. Like, give me one thing that outside the normal, like, we're all excited to see if they can repeat. I'll do that stuff. But what's one thing randomly during the course of the season that you're going to be into?
Irrationally excited about Jaden Springer.
Ooh.
I don't know why. I mean, I know that he has, and where's the opportunity going to come? But I think during the course of the year, load management, sometimes not major injuries, but just rest days or minor, like nagging injuries. There are opportunities for him to get in there. I think he's a really talented player. He's still very young. If you look at him, if you guys ever saw him up close, you'd understand. I mean, this looks like a guy. It looks like he could be playing Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
Like running back, linebacker. The Patriots could use him. Can you tackle? Can you wrap up and tackle? You'll be good. You'll be a good Patriot. I think he's got a lot of ability, and it's just he needs an opportunity. So I'm excited about him.
And last thing, we started with this. How you going to infuse Michael Holley into the PGL squad this year? Like, what's one thing you want to leave your stamp on with us?
Well, I'll tell you that at heart, Forsberg, you know this. We've known each other for a long time. I'm a fan. I'm a fan who has just, you want to talk about irrational. I love the NBA. I've always loved the NBA. Love the NBA present. Love the NBA history. And so I just want to, and a lot of these conversations I think we have now, especially now with the media, the way we do things, there's so much just hype, and people just go overboard. I think a lot of conversations need context. Like, this is the best I've ever seen, or this is the worst I've ever seen. No. It's not the worst. It's not the best. I mean, this is really where we are on the NBA timeline. I think we're all on an NBA timeline. And so we just have to have a healthy amount of respect for that. How does this team compare to the 2008 champs? How does this team compare to the 1986 champs? How do we compare to the people, the shoulders that we're standing on? I mean, before us, there was, Bob Ryan out there covering the Celtics, Jackie McMullen covering the Celtics. So there's so many people who have been witnesses for this franchise and have been chroniclers for this franchise, and so we're just part of that tradition.
I was ready to compare this team to 86, and a lot of people out there will fight me, but I'm not comparing us with Jackie and Bob.
Okay. Now, tell me about this. Now, I want to ask you a question. Tell me about this 86 comparison, because I had this thought. I have a thought. You tell me first.
Okay.
What stood
out?
Well,
actually, I was just telling Scal, my comparison is 08, 09. People forget how good that team was out of the gate.
When KG gets hurt in Utah, that changed everything.
Everything changed, right?
But you can argue they were better.
They were 100% better.
They were better.
27-2 through the first 29 going into Christmas.
Because they had, what we talked about, to bring it full circle, what we talked about in the beginning, okay, there's a mentality after you win a championship. I'm going to take it up, or I'm content with what we accomplished.
And they were not content.
They were not content. Because they figured they got better during the playoffs. That first series against Atlanta, what are you doing? Going 7 games with Atlanta. They go 7 games with Atlanta. They go 7 games with Cleveland. Then 6 with Detroit. And then I think in the Detroit series, especially winning it on the road in Detroit, it gave them confidence. Game 4 in the NBA Finals against the Lakers, where it looks like it's about to be a tie series. And then they're like, oh, no, we came back from 20 points down. We win this game. We go up 3-1. lose 3-2 lose Game 5 in LA, and then come back here and stomp on them. I think that gave them so much confidence. But my 86 comparison to this team, I'm just going to put it out there. The best backcourt in Celtics history, right now, defensively, this is the best defensive backcourt in the history of the Boston Celtics with Drew Holiday and Derek White. You won't find anything better. Now, sorry, Danny.
I think he'd be great.
Come on, Danny. You had Danny and you had DJ.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty good. You had Rondo and Ray Allen, who could step up at times. Marcus Smart and Bradley. No, these guys are more versatile. Yeah. This is the best defensive backcourt in the history of the Celtics. You got it right now. And also, like we talk about repeating, I don't want to give away all the stuff that I'm supposed to be writing.
Too late.
A little struggling with the deadline right now. But I would say, I think the stat is a little skewed of like the repeat. You know, we haven't had a repeat champion since. One of the repeat champions, the COVID world, everybody wants to forget about COVID. Everybody wants to forget about Zoom, how we all got fat. We all want to forget about it. We all want to forget about it, right? So that's like the outlier. That's one outlier. The Warriors are an outlier because you had injuries in the finals, or before that one. You got injured. They could have repeated, but they got injured.
And then
in the finals. Then the Raptors are an outlier. I don't know. The NBA Finals MVP left. He left. He leaves. He was one and done. So, I mean, I think there are some really good explanations for some of them. Now, the 22 champs, the Warriors, beating the Celtics. One, I think they're a little bit surprised that they won it. Two, after they won it, and they are savvy, we're not done. Yes, you are. That was it. That was it. They got old overnight, and they had some things that they caught, some special things that they caught that were not sustainable, such as Andrew Wiggins having the gall to say, "Yeah, Jayson Tatum, bring it on." That will never happen again. That will never happen again. Andrew Wiggins, the Wiggins family says, "I can't believe you did that. I can't believe that." So, look, man,
Okay.
can I just
You
say
talked me down off the ledge off of all the things I was worried about.
Can I just say this? They're going to repeat.
This is going to be fun.
They're going to repeat.
We got it on camera.
They're going to win it again. This is not a rah, rah, rah. They're going to repeat. They're going to repeat because they are clearly better than everyone else. And I guess the great thing for them, last thing I'll say is the great thing for them is there was a little bit of negativity in their past.
Always helps.
So the questions, you beat the Pacers and Halliburton was out and then Donovan Mitchell was out against Cleveland and then you didn't face Jimmy Butler, but nobody ever faces Jimmy Butler. Jimmy, could you show up to work, bruh? Can you show up to work? He's always missing time, so don't hold that against yourself. That's not my problem. That's a workplace problem. You talk to your employer. Dude doesn't want to come to work. And then you take on the Mavericks. And I want to go back, Forsberg, and just say, going to that series, there are a lot of people who picked the Mavericks. And now we're saying, the Mavericks weren't competition. Well, why'd you pick them?
Yeah.
I didn't pick them. I think like 8 or 9, for
Legit,
ESPN. Yeah. I think 9 of their experts picked the Mavericks over the Celtics. So,
and that's why people here listen to Celtics talk.
Yeah, that's right. Listen to Celtics talk. Listen to Forsberg.
All right, here with our newest teammate.
Wow.
Can we call you that?
Yeah, I'm the
Kayla
rook.
Burton?
I'm the rookie.
You're the rookie.
Let's go.
Rookie duties.
Rookie, oh God, what does that even mean?
Yeah. Jordan Wall says, he still had to go, I might put you on the Chipotle run some nights.
Okay, tough.
We'll see what we can do.
Extra cheese, extra guac. I can do that. Okay.
All right.
Me and Jordan Walsh, let's go.
You're on this. But I am going to give the rookie a little bit of a superstar take. So I asked you to tell me, Jayson Tatum's heard a lot of noise this offseason. Didn't play a whole lot in the Olympics. What are you expecting
one could say.
From Mr. JT? And if you were listening on the audio version, you can't see this, but I'm going to pass Kayla the rock
Let's
right
go.
now.
Well, one, I expect Jayson Tatum to have that hitch that everyone's talking about. Forget the hitch. All that off-season stuff that he's been doing with Drew Hanlon, his coach. Listen, important. It continues to show the kind of NBA elite guy that he is. But when it comes to the offseason issues, I think this guy is going to ball out this year. One, because everyone was giving him heat about his, 28% shooting from behind the three in the postseason. Mind you, in a 7-year career, he shot almost 37% from behind the three, which is above average.
Rookie brought the numbers.
I brought up the numbers. I'm trying to back up JT a little bit here. So on top of that, you get benched in the Olympic Games. I don't know what's up with that. I just envision him having Deuce, a picture on his wall, and then Steve Kerr as motivation for that game day.
Like a good side and a bad side in the room. Like when he's happy, he's looking over here, and then when he's mad,
it's like the angel and the devil,
you know?
Exactly. So he's got that. But no, on a serious note, I think that this is only going to motivate him, especially trying to get MVP. All the reasons. Jaylen Brown, the conversation throughout the offseason. So Jayson Tatum's got something in his bag for sure.
JT MVP. You throwing that out there?
JT MVP. I don't care what you all say about this hitch. Wow. All right, I'm not JT. Maybe that was in the postseason.
We're going to need Drew Hanlon. Bring him in.
Where's Drew? Is my elbow out too much? Please, forget the shot. Forget the elbow. That was a layup, too.
That's all right. We'll get you in the lab and working on that. Give me one thing. So I've been asking people, like, what they are irrationally excited for about this season. Okay, look. We're all excited that they're going to be going for another title. Yep. We're all like, there might be, but is there a game? Is there a player? Is there something you are like, oh, I can't wait to see this year?
I am irrationally excited for Derek White. I am irrationally excited for him, and not just what he did last year and kind of the vessel of the team and the playmaker, but I think that he is in the top conversation of the NBA, and it's because he does the little things. Like if you see him, even in the preseason up against Jokic, getting that steal and dishing it out to Jayson Tatum to hit a three. He does the little things, so I'm really excited for him. I'm also going to throw one more out there. I know I shouldn't go two here.
No,
but
I like it.
Preseason Pritchard, forget that. It's not a preseason thing. It's a regular season thing. It's a postseason thing. It is Peyton Pritchard all the way. I'm with Eddie House on that.
It's not performance P, though.
It's Eddie, we got to work on that name. But I expect him to get more minutes and ball out with those minutes.
I'll throw one thing in here. I think last year Derek White was not in the ESPN Top 100 Players, which was like ridiculous to begin with. And this year I think he's at 39 or something like that.
See?
So they were like, whoops, hey, we messed up. And sometimes you just have to remind everybody how good you are.
Apparently you need a gold to figure it out. I don't know.
All right, one other thing. As the Rook, what are you going to be bringing to this PGL crew?
Okay, here's what I got. I got the corny enthusiasm that I'm going to say. I got some swag. It's not Amina Swiss swag, but I'm going to step it up a little bit here. I'll make the coffee runs. Chipotle, I can only, as a former point guard, I may drop the ball a time or two, but I will go on the Chipotle runs. But all in all, just handling the rock, passing it off.
I did tell you, hey, this is the podcast. We're going casual today, and you dressed up all fancy-like. And I'm like, that's fancy. That's fancy around here. So
I didn't get the memo.
Yeah. Okay.
Where's Laura G? Where's Scal?
Okay. One coffee run, and that will be your penance.
I'm already getting heat, man.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the team.
Too fancy. All right, my bad. My bad. I'm really excited.
Gear up for more in the year of 24 at the award-winning 24 Auto Group. This is our year, and we want to celebrate it with you. That's why we've got sales and service specials, giveaway contests and prizes, and fun family events happening all year long. So tune in every 24th of the month for the latest year of 24 news and offers, with 11 convenient locations across Massachusetts and Rhode Island, and 9 top brands. We have the knack to save you more in the year of 24. Visit us in store or online at 24autogroup.com.
Joined now by Tommy Giles.
I always love when you're hosting and I don't have to.
I know, but you're so good at it, and then it makes me uncomfortable because I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can just revel in this awkwardness as I try to fumble my way through. But
that's what makes a good host. I know that.
But you're not awkward with it, so you don't ever have to recover. You're just good with it. You're smooth. What I need from you is your other strong suit is knowing the landscape of the league.
Oh, really?
Maybe how it's the numbers are looking in Vegas.
Oh, I see. Yes.
I'm
going down that path.
I'm trending towards.
I like that.
Who can actually push these Celtics this season?
I mean, if you're talking about where the odds are, the Thunder have the best odds out west, so they have the second best odds to win the championship. And then you look at the Eastern Conference. It was Philadelphia who had the second best odds in the Eastern Conference. The Knicks have jumped them since the Karl Anthony Towns trade. So those are the two teams that I'm most interested in. It comes to Philadelphia and New York, and I'm interested to see what they look like.
Yeah, well, so here's the thing. I don't care what Vegas thinks. I want to know what Tommy Giles thinks. How are you feeling about the Knicks and the Sixers?
I feel like the Knicks should be better, but I'm curious to see how Karl-Anthony Towns fits in with that group, fits in defensively with that group. And I think that even though we got to see all the drama that unfolded between Dante DiVincenzo and the Knicks staff, and that was a lot of fun for preseason, I do think that's a pretty, that's a significant loss. Even though he's a depth piece, that is a loss for them. So it just all comes down to Karl-Anthony Towns and how he fits in with things. And so the Knicks, if they come together, they can be a good team. But
you got them ahead of the Sixers? You got them ahead of the Sixers?
Right now, maybe, but not by much. And here's the thing. If I know that Philadelphia is going to be healthy.
Fair.
Which is that's, you can use those with any team, right? But I think it's fair with Philadelphia with Joel Embiid. You have to absolutely account for health when it comes to Philadelphia. If I know they're fully healthy, I actually like Philadelphia better. I think they're a more intriguing trio right there with Paul George and Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid and some of the depth pieces they brought in, Kayla Burton. I think that they're a more intriguing team to me than the Knicks are because you know what you have as far as star power goes there, and I'd be more concerned if I'm a Knicks fan about Jalen Brunson staying healthy through a postseason.
This is where we are jiving because I'm with you. Like I feel the same way, and you've left out Yabusele.
I did.
I'm just saying. I do like what they have. The only thing I'm worried about now, Embiid's not going to play back-to-backs. That's like 15 games he's not going to play. He's going to struggle just to make award criteria if he has another fluke injury. So I just have to watch with that. And you mentioned OKC. Is that if you had to pick a team you think's coming out of the West? Like I worry that they're still maybe just a touch too young. Hartenstein already injured. Do they have enough to get through when you think Minnesota should be better? And we'll see how the trade works out for them. Denver should be there.
Yeah.
Dallas, Jayson Tatum thinks they're going to be back in the finals. How are you feeling about OKC in that match?
I honestly think that OKC, they're going to make strides, but I wonder if they've figured out the playoff structure enough yet. Yeah, I still, are they ready for the postseason? Denver having, a much longer offseason because they got bounced as early as they did. I actually would take Denver coming out of the West. I think OKC's got more talent, and they could obviously do some things as well. They could make some additions. They've certainly got plenty of draft capital if they want to do that. But are they ready yet? And I'm not entirely convinced that they are. So I would still go with Denver.
We're too much alike. Give me one irrational thing you're excited about this season.
One irrational thing I'm excited about this season. It's the games where the Celtics are resting 2 or 3 or 4
what
guys.
What a great choice.
And they come out and they still beat, Toronto by 15 points because Peyton Pritchard goes off for 25. Some of your depth pieces, Sam Hauser goes 6 of 6 from 3. Those things. The way they win games when they're also resting guys, that's what's going to intrigue me because since you asked about numbers, the win total being what it is at 58.5, I happen to like the Celtics to go over that number. And if they're going to, there's going to be games where you're going to be missing some of your guys because you have to rest them along the way. So, therefore, I'm intrigued by what it looks like when those guys are out, who steps up, and how Joe Mazzulla gets the most out of his team because he's done that over the last couple of years.
Such a great choice. And I think I saw today 74% of the bettors are on the over right now, which makes me a little hesitant.
Generally, yeah. It's if you're going with win totals, you're going over.
You watch this team and you say, okay, I feel pretty good about that. How are you feeling about our PGL crew this year?
Love it. I love it. Love the energy. It's.
Well, you worked closely with Michael Holley.
I did.
What do you think he's going to bring to our team?
Michael Holley's going to bring a lot of passion. He's also going to bring. At times when we need some critical analysis of this team as well.
What you looking at me like?
You do as well. You do as well. But a very measured critical analysis of this team.
Yeah.
He might not get as angry personally by them as you do.
I took that offensively.
But and having covered the league for as many years as he did, I think that great addition there. And Kayla's energy is unbelievable. So looking forward to it. This is gonna be a fun year.
Let's go.
All right.
Back with Abigail Chen.
Oh, Abigail.
I'm going full name for this one.
Full formal.
Because you have a lofty goal here. I saved one of the key players, an MVP level player for you. What are you expecting from Jaylen Brown? And tell me about you've gotten to watch the development from 2016 to now. Do you ever sit there and think, oh my God, how far has he come?
I did last year. How crazy was that? That he was booed inside TD Garden when he was drafted with that number 3 pick. And just for Jaylen to take every single slight and take it personally, but not in a bad way, as motivation. And he hears everything, and he just takes that within himself and goes out there and tries to prove you wrong. The moment that I really grasped Jaylen and this mission that he's going into this season with is after the second or third preseason game, he walked into the press conference room with a glove on his left hand. And he is going to rock that all season long, I think. You want to slam his left hand, he will work on it, he will get better, and he's not afraid to show you.
What are your expectations for Jaylen this year?
I think that's tough because how much better
Every year I say how much better can he get, and then he
gets so much better. Exactly, but
so MVP.
But also, how do you measure that? Because obviously, it is not recognized by the league
Fair.
and their voters. So
All NBA, all defense, all the stuff that they should have given him last year.
I think so. I think that the foundation has been laid for that, particularly on the defensive end and for the all-defense team. How can the number one defense in the league not have the guy who is their defensive leader on the all-defense team?
I don't have a vote, Abby. I'm just telling you. We try to educate people, whether they listen or not.
Do everything we can.
Remains to be
We really
seen.
do. And I'm excited to see his development as a playmaker.
Ooh.
That's what I'm very focused on for him. He pointed out in that press conference just how much defense was his focus last year, and I think this year it is playmaking. And if Jaylen puts his mind to something, yeah.
Underwater workouts, whatever it is, he's going to crush it.
He looks incredible.
It's ridiculous. I don't understand. We were off for 2 weeks. He got more muscles.
It's amazing.
Give me one thing you're irrationally excited about to watch this season.
Dominating the East.
Ooh.
I like that the teams around them, the Sixers, the Knicks, trying to load up, trying to battle these Celtics.
You don't think they got 14 games closer?
14 games.
Well,
Say that again.
Yeah.
14.
14 games last season.
No. I think the Celtics' margin for error was that great. And so, yes, maybe you shrunk a little bit, but 14 games, even without Kristaps Porzingis. They're going to have health issues. They're going to have their own issues. I think the Celtics are going to roll once again through the East.
All right, so we got this crazy PGL squad. We're adding to it. Kayla, Michael Holley, all involved this year. But I want to talk about your job. I had to do your job overseas.
You did great.
No, I didn't.
You were awesome.
I appreciate that. You're being fake right now. But how did you get good at it? How do you I don't think people understand how difficult sideline reporting is, and trying to condense pertinent information into the 30 seconds you have to explain it, while also telling us that Honeydew has new iced coffee. So
it's been beaten down into me by our incredible producer Paul Lucy, who's like, that was too long. Cut it down. I'm kidding. He doesn't do that. He's phenomenal. Just experience. I've been doing this for more than a decade. Don't tell anyone.
Nope.
So you say difficult, I say fun. It's so
how you
exciting.
approach
I
it.
love being there. I still love being there every day, going to every practice, going to every shoot around, and not getting, sucked into the negative world of social media and sports talk radio. Because when you're with the team every day, they're not taking every loss like it's the end of the
Fair.
world. And so it helps to keep me on an even keel because, between the two of us, we're pretty bad about riding that roller coaster.
I ride the roller coaster.
Yeah,
all
of
season
emotion.
long. But last season, wasn't a lot of bumps in the road.
There was not.
Hopefully there are not many bumps this year either. Joined by Drew Cotter. I love the wave. The audio version will not see your wave, but the TV version will.
How could we wave visually? Maybe just say hello. Hi, everybody.
We're finding new ways.
Or verbally, I guess.
For your topic, I want to deliver to you Joe Mazzulla, who, if we rewound 1 year ago, everyone's sitting here going, Sam Cassell's coming in and Charles Lee, and is this the right guy to lead the team? A year later, we feel pretty confident. How do you think he won over both his players and the city?
Well, I would take that in two separate parts, Chris. Number one, the players. I think Mazzulla is uniquely positioned to lead an NBA team right now because he is young enough to relate to and fit in with the players, but also commands respect, even from guys who are even older than he is. Like Al Horford is actually older than Joe Mazzulla. Drew Holiday's around the same age, and even the younger guys on the team are less than a decade younger than he is. So he's really around their age, he could play in the NBA right now. So that's one part of it, but also the way he approaches the game and life, I think it's hard not to listen to him and hard not to respect him, hard not to be motivated by him because he has such a different perspective on everything than I would say your typical person. So that's number one. As far as the city, I think the results speak for themselves, right? I mean, if they win the game against Miami in his first year in the Eastern Conference Finals and he completes the first 3-0 comeback in NBA history in the playoffs, and if we're saying if Jayson Tatum doesn't hurt his ankle in the first minute of that game, then maybe Joe Mazzulla never had questions going into his second year. The margins are so thin in the NBA. Think about, Kevin Durant, if he wears a size 15 instead of 16, maybe Brooklyn wins that series and his career looks different. There are countless examples of that. I think the process is always the most important thing for Joe, but the results have gotten people to buy in, and I think rightfully so. I mean, if you think about how the Celtics lost their coach before Joe Mazzulla, I don't think they were going to take a risk with their next coach. And as much as it seemed like Mazzulla was kind of an out-of-the-box choice going from the second row to the head coaching position for a team that was coming off a finals berth, I think the people important enough to make those decisions, like Brad and the ownership group, they knew all along that he was the right guy.
And all the players on media, we were asking them, like, what is it about him? And they're like, well, it's a little unconventional. He's going to be telling you about killer whales and doing his jiu-jitsu stuff. Yeah. But he's going to get there, and it's going to make sense. And the buy-in has been unbelievable around this team. All right, I've been asking everybody, one irrational thing you're, like, irrationally excited about for this team. Like, you can pick a player, you can pick a game. Like, we're all excited to see them go after another title. But what's one thing that you think you want to see from this?
So I'm going to say that what's the best way to put it? Rob Williams is to you what Neemias Queta is to me.
Wow.
He is my favorite bench big man I think I've ever followed.
What is it about Nimi that is drawing you in?
So many things, right? Number one, first Portuguese player, and I think still only Portuguese player in NBA history. Really interesting story about how he got into the game in the first place. I think his sister went to practice and he tagged along, and someone was like, dude, you're really tall. Do you want to try playing basketball? And he did, and it's led him here. I have so much respect for how he spent so much time in Maine last year, and he kind of got cut loose by the Kings. And you look back in hindsight, it's like, what were y'all doing? Why wouldn't you want Neemias Queta on your team?
That's why they're the Kings.
That's why they're the Kings. Even though they're better now, they're still the Kings. I think I really like his personality, and he's a very low-key guy, and I think he understands his role. And to me, it's a bit of a microcosm for this whole team, is guys understanding and buying into their role. I just love Queta, and I think with Porzingis out for a couple months at the start of the year, we're going to see a lot of Nimi. Kornet probably starts when Horford's not playing. Maybe when he is playing, we'll see how that plays out. But I just like Queta a lot, and I hope he gets some real run at the start.
Quick Nimi story. We're in Abu Dhabi, the last place I would expect to see a Celtics 88 is his number, right?
Yeah.
Jersey. And I look across, and there's a guy, and he's sitting there with the jersey and the Portuguese flag, and I said, probably a shorter trip than coming to Boston.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. Well, he's got a whole country on his shoulders, right? Usually they like soccer over there, and that was his sport growing up, but it's like, you hear that story with players who come over from Africa a lot, I feel like, right? Like Hakeem Olajuwon, that's his story. So that's why his footwork was so good, because he played soccer. Mitch is coming from Portugal, where they just don't produce many NBA players. Number 88 is cool. Like, he's just got so many neat things about him. Plus, I'm proud because I did ask him, how do you pronounce your first name? And it is that SH sound.
Yeah, Nimi.
So I do need to confirm that again.
No, you have to. It's confirmed.
But okay, it's confirmed. So Neemias, we love you, and have a great season.
Last thing. All right, this is it. You got last year you got to dip your toe in the water. Now you're full diving in. How's that going to be? And are you ready for that much Scal in your life?
That's really the question.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the question people need to ask. Yeah, I can't wait, man. It's going to be awesome. I hope it's actually. I hope it's more normal for I hope it starts to feel normal for the fan. I know it's going to take a lot of time, but my dream is for one day people to feel a similar feeling with me and Scal that they did for Mike and Tommy, which is, you can turn on your TV on a cold February night and be like, all right, I know these people, these are my friends, let's hang out for a couple hours and watch Celtics basketball. That's what we're going for. Again, I know it's going to take some time, but hopefully people can feel like that one day.
How was it? That was the first Celtic game you called at the Garden, right?
Oh my God, it's the best. It's the best. I mean, our fans are so great, and obviously it's our local show. We want the team to win. We want them to succeed. It's easier to rise to big Celtics moments when the whole crowd is with you. It's different from being in like Philly, where everyone's like, oh man, like Jayson Tatum just hit another three. In the Garden, it's like, let's go, JT for three. We can get more excited. So it's better to be at the Garden. Plus we have all our people there, not just the fans, but the people on our production crew. So it's great to call games at the Garden. Looking forward to doing it for years, man.
All right, coming quick. All right, joined now by Eddie House. Eddie, you are expertly qualified to lead me through the bench unit. What can we expect from Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard, Luke Cornett when he's coming off that bench? Is there the possibility, the Celtics bench was so good last year, leading the league in net rating, can they be even better this season?
I'm expecting them to be better this season because those are the type of players that they are, right? Everybody is looking to elevate their game, whether it be Peyton Pritchard, trying to average more points, maybe average more assists, maybe his pickup points, even though he's been fantastic at that. Sam Hauser shooting maybe better from the three, even though he shot great from the three. I think all of them come into this season with goals. Luke Cornett the same way. Also, Kayla, him having an opportunity to get more minutes. All of these guys are looking at, okay, how do I affect winning? And what do I have to do to affect winning? And to me, I feel like they're going to take a step forward because I've been around them. I know that I've seen them when they didn't win a championship and they were talking about winning a championship and then they won a championship and they were talking about doing the things to make sure that they can win another championship. I have to believe the work that they put in, the work that they believe in themselves. And then also you got to look at Joe Mazzulla and the coaching staff. They believe in those guys. They know that they're going to have to lean on them. So I'm expecting them to take it a notch up a little bit.
How can they, we fixate so much on how they can impact the game when they're out there, but like behind the scenes too, I remember all the stories from 07, 08, you guys wanting to push that starter group. Like how much can you elevate the level of play, like in the Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, if those guys bring it on practice days?
Every single day, whether it's in the weight room, whether it's if you're doing conditioning drills, whether it's, on the treadmill and you guys are just doing sprints, everybody is pushing each other. And I think that goes a long way. When you have guys that are the role players, the guys that come off the bench, when they push the stars and the stars push them as well, that's when you have something special. And I think that's what this team is about. Everybody's just pushing to be the best version of themselves and to be the best version for this team.
All right. So give me one thing. And we're all trying to go off the grid here, and I'll give you some examples. But we're trying to think of something that everybody is irrationally excited for this season. So some people were like, I'm just excited to see what Nimi Keita does with a bigger role, what Derek White does coming off of last season. Looking at this season, what's one thing that you're like, man, I can't wait to see this matchup or this player? What jumps out?
I can't wait to see Sam Hauser getting a good whistle because he never gets a good whistle. He plays great defense. He does everything that you're supposed to do. He slides his feet. He's in good position. He contests without fouling, but somehow he gets a foul. If he's sliding his feet, if he's contesting, whatever it is, I would like to see him. I'm excited to see him get a better whistle. And after winning a championship, right, most of the time you get a little better whistle. So I'm excited to see that.
I mean, Hauser Island, he was already so good defensively. If he actually gets a good whistle, like maybe he will finally get the respect he deserves on that end of the floor. Last thing, Eddie. All right, our PGL crew is growing. We're adding Michael Holley. Kayla Burton's joined the crew this year. What are you expecting from our group, and what do you want how do we keep our championship level chemistry going this season?
Well,
yeah, get the trophy, baby.
I never usually expect anything, in this area like this. Like, I wasn't expecting this. This was a fantastic thing that we were able to win and accomplish, as a group. And adding them to it, I think just bolsters our roster. It's just like adding to the riches, okay, if you will. And so this is it right here.
Emmy
Another
awards
gold
for everybody.
trophy.
Like, look, if the Celtics are going to go out there, I know the goal is clearly stated. They got to go win another title. It's on us, Eddie, to bring it every night and go get us another statue.
For sure. Right. Ain't no question about it, man. And with you leading the way, Giles, Kayla, we going to get there, man. We going to make it happen. We going to do it again.
Eddie, when you told Tom Giles the other night that he is the Luke Cornett of this team, I've never seen a man glow so happily based on just the ultimate compliment. And I think we're all ready.
Hey, you know what it is? It's Ubuntu. That was a living testament, live and direct of Ubuntu right there.
I love it. I don't have anything else. Ubuntu, the season's coming real soon. All right, I don't know about you guys, but I am ready for the season to start. Remember, we will be back with you after every single game this season, the Celtics Talk podcast, post-game pods. We'll have episodes during the week as well. So go like, subscribe. We'll see you on the YouTube page. We'll catch you next time on the Celtics Talk podcast.